Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day. If you follow the channel, you know that I'm building my new mixing room, and as you can probably imagine from the slightly different background and setup we are today, I'm in the new mixing room. It's not finished, so for now we just put up the background so I can keep in touch with you guys and keep doing video while we finish this room, which is gonna be absolutely amazing, and I hope you like it. But because right now it's a little bit tricky for me to do videos, I thought about doing a rapid fire question and answer with you guys. I collected a couple of questions that I thought were good, either from YouTube comments, Facebook, Instagram comments, and so this is what we're gonna do in the next days. I'll probably do a series of short videos to reply the most common question, the one that I think will help you the most. Let's start with the first one. Someone asking me why professionals don't think that 500 modules are worth buying. Is there any difference in headroom if you compare them to the rack version? Why some people think that 500 series are shit and just toys. Okay, so first of all, that is absolutely not true. That they are toys, and professionals in general don't like them or don't like to buy them. That is absolutely not true. You just look at all the studios out there. 500 series is not only popular, but its popularity increases so much every day, and I've been increasing for the past years, because it's an amazing format, it saves space, and the sound quality is on par, if not better, in many cases with rack. But I know where this question comes from. This question comes from the very first Lunchboxes. The problem was related to the very first Lunchboxes, which had an underpowered power supply, and it was built into the Lunchbox. And for some modules, especially preamps, that power supply on many Lunchboxes wasn't enough to get the job done, especially when you started having 8 or 10 slots Lunchboxes with all full with either preamps or high demanding power-wise modules. And so you started back then having some problems with power. Noises, because one module was too close to the power supply, and also because 500 series became so popular so quickly. A lot of companies, 500 series is an API format, okay? They own the 500 format because that was the format that they had on their console. They still do, okay? The 550, A, B, and 560, that's still the format that they have on their 1608 or the biggest console. So there's nothing wrong with the modules. If you think API has been using that format for ages, and API is arguably one of the biggest, best sounding, most used brand and modules, preamps, compressors, and EQs in the history. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the module themselves. It's like, because of the very quick increasing popularity of 500 series, a lot of companies jumped on the format right away without really studying it probably enough or in depth enough. So most times was also a problem with the design of specific modules. They were not tailored well to work inside a Lunchbox, to work with that rail, to work with that kind of power supply. So it was on both hands. The first Lunchboxes were probably underpowered. A lot of companies came out with new models. They were not VPR approved back. VPR is the API alliance that approved models to work in their Lunchboxes. And a lot of companies also started to do more complex modules, which required more power. But today, that's absolutely not a problem. For example, take my Lunchbox. I have, you saw it so many times. I have the Super Carrier by Wes Audio, which is actually the old version. The new version is even better. It's mine is a 10 slot. I have fully loaded, and I have fully loaded with heavy stuff. I have API preamps. I have an 1176 from Wes Audio. I have the Wes Audio Dion stereo compressor, which is digitally controlled. Also is the 1176, the Mimas. I have the Prometheus stereo Pultec EQ, which is digitally controlled as well. And I have the 2 louder than lift-off filters. And when I turn that on, everything is on. I've never, ever had any problem with power, noise, but most important, and that's one thing that I personally pay attention when I buy gear in general, 500 series in particular, is something that the this guy is asking me, the headroom. Now, you buy high-end gear in 500 series, they have the same headroom, if not more, than hardware gear, than rack gear. For example, why I like West Audio Dion, if you look at all my reviews for each and every one of their units, you will hear me saying I love these things because they have a real 24 plus dB headroom. And I know this. I know but for a fact because when I hit my Neves, I hit them hard. I have to hit them hard to get the sound that I want. So if what comes after, and after the Neves I have the 2 West Audio, that's not going to work. It's going to crap out. And it happened to me before. I don't want to mention what, but I had a stereo EQ, very popular, 500 series, that wasn't taking the level. As soon as I was touching a knob to like boost or cut on that EQ, and I was not even close to clipping or the 0, even in analog, I was hitting it about -10, -8 dB, was starting to crap out. The funny thing is because that specific EQ also has a rack version, I contacted the company and I was like, hey, what's the deal with this? Because I'm not getting, you know, I can't use it this way. If I switch to the rack module, is that gonna be better? Does it have more headroom? And they told me just straight, nope, it's exactly the same. It's 1-to-1. It just changes the format. And if you have the problem with that, you will have it with the rack. So that's a big company. I love their gear. I absolutely love their gear. But that one specific EQ wasn't working for me because of my workflow, because of my levels on the 2-bus, the way I mix. But so this is to say, if today you have any problem with the 500 series module, it's not the power supply, assuming you have a good lunchbox. So for example, the West Audio Carrier, I love it because it has an external power supply. So it's detached from the lunchbox itself. And it's overpowered. It delivers way more than you will possibly need when it's fully loaded with the most demanding 500 series modules out there in the market. If you have a problem with one module or more than one, it's the module design. So it's the company that designed the modules that didn't do things right. And like I said, in the very beginning of the 500 series era, some big companies made, small mistakes here and there. There was a couple of preamps that were famous for not working well, while the rack version was working amazing. But that, again, was it was just the first stages where companies were not really sure, maybe, or didn't test enough. It was more probably the demand was so high that they were just forced to put out something quickly to get in the market, which I'm not a fan of that politic, but I understand it from a commercial point of view. But that's why. That's where the legend comes from. Today, no, 500 series is absolutely on par, if not better, than rack in most cases. Not in most cases, in some cases. I always point out West Audio gear because that's the benchmark. Period. There's very, very few rack units that are digitally controlled. They work flawlessly like they do, like West Audio Gear does, and the sound of it, it's unbeatable. I'm not using the 500 gear 2-bus compressor West Dion because I have problems with space. In this room, I will have 45 units of rack gear, plus the 500s and main monitors. So I don't have problems with space. I use that because it's the best for me, period. So that tells you something. I hope this answered the question. These are going to be like this quick, okay? Rapid fire, call and response, question and answer. So let me know what you think about this format in the comment down below. And most importantly, leave your question. If you want to support the channel, if you like the channel, Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, check the info box down below for all my mixing courses, and stay tuned because we're gonna post bits and pieces and clips from the new room build. Thank you for watching and see you next time.